Very careful what I say because I do have a very strong opinion of them closing the ranch.
Oh, me too.
Sure.
And I
It was
do
just
feel-
heartbreaking.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's something that we want to do. You know, I mean,
I think the best thing is for you just to be you,
okay,
and then from there we'll be able to pick and choose what he needs to use or anything like
Okay.
that. But yeah, just be you. You're fine. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So my question is, can you take us back to your home life and what your father was like growing up?
and neither one of us want to talk.
Well, he was a very kind and devoted person, and he believed that he had to work very hard so my mom could always be home with us. And so, besides being a judge, he would work at my grandpa's upholstery shop at night, and he would go give speeches for the boys' ranch. And so he was gone quite a bit just because he felt like he had to take care of his family.
Exactly.
And
He was
when
very good at that,
And
too.
he didn't have any hobbies, so when he had time off, he was home. And his favorite thing was to sit out in the backyard with his tomatoes.
Oh yeah, he loved
And
his
yeah,
tomatoes.
and he just loved his family.
He did love his family, and he loved other people too. I mean, it was very obvious in the way he treated the people that came into his court, and the people that he got to know through going out and speaking and
Yeah.
stuff. He had a heart of gold, and he just cared about people. And I think that's when this vision started, which I truly believe that was
Yeah.
part of God's plan for him. It was just something that, well, he got determined he was going to do, and
Yeah.
he set out.
When he felt something was to be done and was right, then he was not going to give up. And he
Exactly.
always thought of others. He didn't think of himself.
Yeah, and like we've told you before that they wanted to name that ranch after him when they got it built, but
Yeah,
he
he
didn't
wouldn't
want it.
allow
He
it.
was too humble to let them put his name on it, and so they had to wait till after he died.
He couldn't say no.
He couldn't tell them no, they couldn't do it, you know. So, and you know, even this was going on when he was probate and juvenile judge, and even when he became district judge, he kept his, I don't want to say fingers in it exactly, but he knew exactly what was going on out there, and he was always a welcome visitor out there, and he'd go out there and visit with whoever was out there taking care of the boys, and just to let them know he still cared.
Right, and he loved hearing from the boys that had been out there and still contacted him.
Yeah.
So what do
They
you
did.
remember there being before there was a JRBR? What was before that for juveniles?
Well, it was Orville Wright, and it was more like a institution.
It was just a real institution and real cold and not friendly and
Yeah.
not a home life at all and not a way to turn your life around and get better.
Right, and I'm not for sure. You'd have to check on this, but I think that Mel and Betty started at Orville Wright, and then went on out to the ranch. I think
When he got it built, he brought them out
Yeah,
there.
he took them out there to the ranch. But having the ranch and having Mel and Betty there was like just having a home. That the boys could come in and they would get the love that they needed, and they'd also get discipline
And
I mean,
get
it'd be just-
direction.
yes, and it would be just like a home.
And activities that were positive activities.
Exactly. I mean, that with the animals there, they used to have the animals there because my dad liked animals, and
He loved riding horses.
yeah, he did. And so they had horses, and they had dogs, and they had goats.
Goats.
And I think they had chickens too that ran around a little bit. But it was just a place that probably a lot of these kids had never been around
Right.
some of these animals, you know. And they always say animals help people heal, and I'm sure that's what they did out there. They helped them heal, not only physically if they had a problem, but mentally and emotionally. I think because they
And
give
spiritually.
love, yeah, spiritually, and that's a big part of what
It's a
Daddy
big
did
part.
was loving.
And that's
with
what was
God's
missing
love.
at Orville Wright.
Yeah.
Do you remember how he proposed his dream to you, to the both of you, before it became a reality? Do you remember anything specific he may have said to you about wanting to start this?
No, I really don't remember anything specifically because, like I said, Daddy didn't talk about his work a lot because he didn't he was very humble, and he didn't want to make
He's
a
not
big
going to
deal.
show off. He's not going to say, this is what I'm
No.
doing.
But we knew about it because when he went out and talked.
Because he'd go out to his speeches that night, and we know that what he was doing and that he was so dedicated to this idea.
Right. But he was very, very happy with the way it turned out because he used to take us out there, and he was very excited to let us see what was going on with the boys out there.
Yes, because we got to go for Sunday dinners, and I always remember our ice cream floats that we'd have after dinner out there, and then go out for their plays and their Christmas parties and different things. And so he would bring his family out there because he thought it was a special place.
Right.
So leading into that, how did it impact your family? Just the ranch itself and trying to put it all together?
I don't think that, for me, I don't think I realized exactly how important it was until I got older. Because for me, it was a fun thing to go out there. And we loved Betty and we loved Mel, and they treated us great when we were out there. So it was more of this is a cool thing we're going to do. We get to go out there again, you know. We get to go see the animals, and we get to go eat the good food, and, you know, and they're going to have gifts for us because at Christmas they make these little things for us, you know. So I don't think we got the whole gist of it until we got older and realized exactly what Daddy was doing.
Wonderful. What were your thoughts when the proposal for closure was first made in 2012?
I was very disappointed that people couldn't see how important it was to take care of kids that need help. And if you've got something going that is a good thing, I couldn't understand why you'd want to stop that. To be honest, I was angry. I thought, it's all about money. It's not about the kids. It's all about money. It's all about politics. It's all about money. And I've been around politics all my life, and I just was very disappointed that it had got to that point.
I was very disappointed and upset and confused on what we should do to make a difference. And it was like nobody cares because they had made up their minds, and that was all there was to it. And I guess I just felt like they were betraying Daddy, that he had worked so hard to help these boys, and they were just going to give up on it.
Did you feel like you could personally do anything to help this?
No.
Because Vicki went down, and it's just like they wouldn't listen. They didn't care.
Yeah, it was just like they already had their mind made up. They may have, in my opinion, they may have said that we're going to have these talks, and, you know, you can come and voice your opinion. But that was, to me, that was just a show.
Right.
They already had it in their mind what they were going to do. And I truly believe it was all about money. And I totally understand that. I knew that they said the state wasn't funding as much as they needed. And I knew that the county said they didn't have the money to do this and that. But, you know, I thought, since it is dealing with kids and making better citizens that can help your community, instead of not giving them the help they need that we have right here, and possibly it becoming something where they will be more of a hindrance to our community later, I just couldn't understand how you could just turn your back on something like this.
I thought, isn't there someone like Daddy that is in this that could go out and speak to the public like he did? He got people to realize that they could have too. He got backing, they could have too, but they didn't try. It was very upsetting.
I always think there's money there. I
I think there would have been if they would have gone out to try for it.
They just didn't have the will.
No.
And they had other ideas what they wanted to do.
Right.
So, you know, that's when the
They
wheels
didn't have
already
the vision
rolling,
like
it's
Daddy did.
hard to stop. So, anyway.
So after the proposal has come and gone, and you found out that the decision was to go ahead and close the ranch, do you remember that moment that you heard about it? What did it feel like to you? Because this is your father's name on it.
I know.
This is his legacy.
I guess I kept hoping that something would happen, but then when it happened and they said they were going to do this, it didn't surprise me. It didn't make me happy. I was probably even a little more angry for a couple of days, thinking, how can you be so inconsiderate? How can you just not understand what you're doing, but you know, you look around at what goes on in the world today and you think, you know, some people just don't get it. They just don't get what is important and what isn't.
I was devastated thinking, you know, Daddy had worked so hard and devoted for these boys, and it was like his dream was gone now, and it was really upsetting to me.
From your perspective, what do you think your father would think or say about JRBR today?
I think he'd get out his model again and go to every place he could find to talk to and get public backing and try to figure out how to get it open again. I really believe he would. He would not give up.
I think he would too. I think that he would be very, I think he'd be very hurt. I think he would be very confused on how it got that way, how it got to the point to where it seems like money was more important than kids. And he'd probably do it. He'd probably,
I think he would.
pick up his model and out he'd
Because
go.
he knew how important it was, and he
Yeah.
would never give up on his dream.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So he'd voice his opinion, I'm sure.
How do you feel about your father starting something that has helped so many kids?
I'd say it's just kind of overwhelming. You don't even know exactly how you feel. You're very proud, but it's just overwhelming that God gave him that vision and he was able to do it. And so many kids have been helped. It's just awesome. It's just awesome.
Wonderful. Do you have any questions for him?
I don't. That was beautiful.
Wonderful. Well, I appreciate both of you.
Is there
very
anything
much.
that you all felt like you wanted to say that we